Our talk today is entitled, "And We're Still Together," which feels to me like the end of a story when you say it was really, really hard and everything got wacky and there were big traumas involved and somebody cried and we're still together. And I can't be the only one who has created or landed myself in one of those big, what my dad would call hullabaloos, where I know this is a shock, someone disagreed with me and I didn't handle it well. It's just me, right? Oh, my husband is feeling so validated right now in the front row. And we're breathing, and we're breathing. The world is complicated. And I know it feels like the world is extra complicated right now, but I'm going to let you in on a little tiny secret. I'm almost 50, so I think I know like 3 things now. It's always complicated. It just always is. It's just where the complication is moves around. You might be very excited about what's going on politically right now, but not happy with your adult child. You might be very upset about something happening in state governance or in your job, but in the most delicious personal relationship of your life. Those pieces move around for us, but we are almost always super psyched about something and less so about something else. It's complicated. Here's the thing that keeps us stuck. I'm so sorry in advance. We're so darn sure that we're right. I mean, you're right? In that situation, like, if only they would just listen to you. Because you clearly know the solution. And those bleepity bleepers aren't listening. They make their own news shows to talk about how much they disagree. They get together on chat streams to talk about how much they disagree. Surely it's not only me that has at least one family or friend related chat stream discussing how to handle me. Good luck to them. Oh, it's normal. It's so normal. We've had 36 years here, 36 and a little bit more, as a community. And it has been completely wobble-free. We've never had ministers who didn't get along with leadership. That's never happened. We've never had interpersonal challenges. I mean, clearly we have. 36 years, we've had all kinds of stuff. And yet, the words of one of our senior ministers along the way, Reverend Penny Masick, comes to mind where she would ask when I would be just so righteously furious about God knows what. I'll just leave. I'll just take my toys and go home. And she would say, I hear you, but can you stay? Can you just go the whole way in love and see what happens? Think of it as an experiment. Maybe there's a way through this. Aren't you too curious to miss the opportunity to find out? She knew how to work me pretty good. And so that's the question. How can we learn to go the whole way in love? How can we use what we learn here in Science of Mind in all of those spots in our life where there's some kind of rub? Is there a path through? Well, we run into our first stumbling block at the very beginning of the journey. So I invite you to rise up in your mind, allow to rise up, something that is squidgy in your world right now. Someone who thinks something that you're just like, oh, I can't be friends with somebody who thinks that. Or something going on in the world that you're like, I'm not a party to this. And yet we're all breathing, so we're all a party to all of it, right? So the first thing that comes up once you've got your situation in mind is, if I am going to stay in this conversation with somebody who sees the world so very differently from me, that's going to require a lot of vulnerability. Now, we've been talking about vulnerability and authenticity on the inside of ourselves, right? So we're good at it now. We've been practicing. Now, imagine walking it out with another person. Being willing to be honest and clear with someone you know disagrees with you. Ooh, take a breath. Somebody's blood pressure is going up. I can feel it in the room. Take a breath. Here's the thing, though. A key tenet of science of mind is the principle of oneness, that we're all one, that there's this thing that we call the divine, call it whatever you want. My friend Mark calls it, I don't know, Harold, I think. God, spirit, the universe, whatever you prefer. There's this energy, and it's everywhere, and it has created everything that ever has been or ever will be out of its own substance, out of its own stuff, because if it's the only thing that there is, that's all it's got to create from. And it has created the mountains, and it has created the desert landscape, and it has created humans. Every single human. Every single human. And if it's all made up of the same stuff, then it's all really the same thing, that we're each expressions of this infinite oneness. But we're all made of the same stuff. So if we block ourselves completely out of situations, relationships, concepts, we are cutting ourselves off from that concept of oneness. Now I'm not talking about situations where you are unsafe. I'm not talking about situations where you are abused. I'm talking about situations where you're annoyed. And I can get annoyed. Can you get annoyed sometimes? It's happened once or twice a day for most of my life. Less now, but not gone. When we avoid interactions with people with whom we disagree or have emotional strain, we're hindering our own growth. We're hindering our own connection in the infinite oneness. And we deserve better than that, right? We deserve to feel that presence of the divine in, through, and as us all of the time. Brene Brown, the oft-quoted Brene Brown, said, "It's the friction of relationships that polish our rough edges and help us to grow into better versions of ourselves." Reverend Karen likes to use the Stephen R. Covey rock tumbler example, where he said, when we're each like rocks that got gathered on a hike, and when you throw rocks into a tumbler, those rough edges rub against each other, and that's what polishes the rocks. That's what brings out their beauty. And relationships are very much the same way, whether it's personal relationships, whether it's romantic relationships, work colleagues, spiritual community. We're rubbing against each other. When the friction hits, it's not a sign that something's gone wrong. It's a sign that we're doing our work. We're all still breathing, right? All the yabbits that are coming up, thank them. We've got some yabbits. My dad used to say, yabbit is a cousin to a rabbit. So if any yabbits have hopped their way into your mind or heart, thank them for letting you know that you have places to be concerned. This is never about blinders. We can't be fully engaged in the divine if we're tuning out. And we can trust our intuition. We can trust that voice inside of ourselves that really is the voice of spirit through us to tell us if this is a situation in which we can safely, reasonably engage and try to connect, or if it is unsafe. And I really call on you to hone that skill of listening to that part of yourself that is designed to be a message from the divine. Our intuition can keep us safe, and our breath can keep us calm. But when in doubt, deep breaths. That box breathing we love to bring up, we love to bring it up because it works, where we breathe in for 4, hold for 4, Exhale for 4. And hold for 4. Just a couple of rounds of that will really calm us down. So now that we have come into this space of considering to consider being open, thank you for that step in. Sometimes it's the little tiny micro mini steps, but if we keep going, we'll get there. If we keep taking steps, we'll always get there. So the next hurdle we run into is this idea of seeing God in everyone. Oh my gosh, we love to sing that in songs, don't we? I see God in everything. Yes. And then they say the thing. You know the thing. Or they do the thing, or God forbid they don't do the thing. We tend to, as humans, with human brains, we want to be surrounded by people that are exactly like us because there is very little conflict in that. I mean, how many times do we talk about this place as a like-minded community? We love it. And that's not what unity is. It's not what unity is. Unity is being one in that oneness, connected to all beings. Which beings? All beings. Just the beings that think like me? No. Just the beings that look like me? No. Just the beings with the same goals as me? No. See, we get stuck. We think that unity is sameness, and it just isn't. And to prove it, I've got a quote from Ernest Holmes where he lays it out as clearly as it can possibly be laid out. While we have one common source, divine wisdom has seen fit to make each an individual. Unity does not mean uniformity. There's a unity at the center with infinite variety, or infinite variation at the circumference. So at the heart of all life is unity. And then each expression of unity gets to branch out and create what each one wants. Be as each one is. And yet we're still, every single one of us, made of the all good. Made of the all good. So I have a friend in this community. I have a lot of friends in this community, but I can't talk about all of you. It would be a really long message. I have a friend in this community named Rachel. You probably know her. She is very bouncy. And Rachel and I have a lot in common. We're super passionate about spirituality and leading and guiding and teaching science of mind. We're both moms. We both love to sing. We love to get on the phone and debrief after very important things like dates and meetings. But we're not exactly the same. Mark and I have been trying to get Rachel invested in Buffy the Vampire Slayer for a year. I'm not convinced it's gonna happen. We get together to watch it, and she just finds different things to do at the party. I taught junior high. She taught kindergarten. It's a really different way to approach education. But we meet in the middle when we're talking about teaching science of mind. We meet in the middle at the let's get together and hang out with our friends. And does it really matter if we watch Buffy or play Settlers of Catan? It turns out no. There's unity even though we are not uniform. She loves to exercise, loves it, doesn't feel like she's had a great day unless she's gone running or gone to yoga. I do different things. I've never seen her sit and knit, not even one day ever. And yet, we're in that infinite oneness. And it's true of everyone. Everyone you will ever lay eyes on wants peace, wants love, wants safety, wants their kids to be happy if they have them, wants their parents to be happy if they have them, wants abundance, wants stability. Everyone, even if you think that person hates America, is one of the ones that crack me up the most. It seems like no matter who's in the government, they're saying some other group in the government hates America. I don't think anybody hates America. It's a perfectly lovely place to live. Even though that person thinks this is the only religion. Well, there are like 800 religions. So there is no such thing as the one religion. Everybody wants what they believe will get them to the life that will meet their heart's needs. And when we remember that, it's easier to go into these conversations with the question mark, to be open. Being open means listening to understand, not to win the debate. What if there isn't a debate? Being open means being willing to meet someone where they are, even if we don't get why they would ask for that thing. It's really important to my grandmother, my 94-year-old grandmother, that when I go visit her, I go to Catholic Mass with her. I am not Catholic. I know that's a surprise. But I go because it matters to her, and it can't hurt me. I've had friends really push back against they, them pronouns. They say to me, especially one particular friend, they say to me, that's not how grammar works. They've told me it's uncomfortable to use a singular they. That one person isn't multiple people. And my friend, they've said to me, I shouldn't have to learn to do that. I shouldn't have to. And I will say, hey, we use the singular they all the time. And nobody even notices. And you know what I just did? I just used it 3 times. Did you even notice? No, because we do that all the time. What if what matters most is meeting the need of the person in front of us, even if we actively disagree with it, because we love them? What if we have the strength to do that? I'm not going to tell you that's what you have to do. I'm inviting you to ask the question. So, the best thing that ever happened to me was brain damage. I talked about it in the newsletter. If you knew me prior to, I think, 2014, you would have known a very certain woman. Certain. Because I had an eidetic memory, and I remembered every little detail of every little conversation, exactly what was said, exactly the tone of voice. And I thought that meant I knew exactly what they were thinking. And you couldn't explain to me that that wasn't it, because I could tell you what shirt you were wearing, what room you were in, what chair, what position, what I said to have you say the thing. And I couldn't forget it because eidetic memory. And I have a feeling that made me difficult. Definitely not as open to other people's perspectives, because I knew, just like whatever your situation is where you know, I knew. But there wasn't any space for expanding from there. And then I had a traumatic brain injury, and I didn't know anymore. I was still working at the bead store, and I would offer people a lovely strand of carrots that were carnelians and not carrots. The wrong words would come out. I would go to make I have a memory of going to make a very prescient point to Jeff Hargis, about something that I was all riled up about. And I said, and the most important thing is, and I didn't know what the most important thing was. The thought was gone. I think I said something like, but I'm right. When we make space for the idea that whether you can remember the shirts or the words or whatever, the piece that I never caught until I genuinely knew that I didn't know was that there are always pieces you can't know. You can't know what that person is responding to from their own memory. You can't know what's calling in their heart that's inviting you to behave differently. You can't know the details that aren't available to you. What if we just all acted like we knew there was a window that we didn't know? And if we knew what was in that window, it would make all the difference. Are we willing to open up enough to do that? To be honest with ourselves about how loving our choices are? Ooh, that's a big breath. And to make space for being more open. It's more than acceptance. We talk about unconditional acceptance, it's unconditional inclusion, where everybody's voice is actually welcome. Everybody's. Letting go of our limiting beliefs about who we think we are and who we think they are and what we think is possible. There's a million right ways to do life. There's a million ways. So this is the invitation to stay in the conversation and use all of your wonderful Science of Mind tools to open up a little bit further and meet someone you love, someone you care about, right where they are. No lectures, no debate, no fixing, just be. Are we up for it? Let's do it, and so it is. And let's anchor this in with some prayer, with some of Frank's wonderful underscoring. Oh, how good it is to be right here, right now, in this consciousness of the one, remembering that every living being is a part of that oneness. How good it is to know that that which is in the call of each of our hearts is being met already by Spirit. Whole, perfect, and complete, exactly as we each are in this moment. To remember that there's more than enough of every good thing, more than enough love and peace and openness and willingness, more than enough grace to move each one of us through whatever comes. And that when the road gets bumpy, we can just invite Spirit in a little deeper. I'm so grateful that we walk this path together. Grateful for the good in every way. And we claim it as we say together. And so it is.